Hello, glad you can join us. Here's what we have for you this Thursday. The fever pitch as the Jays close in on sealing a title, we hope.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Unheard of. Stuff legends are made of.
How Canada's team plans to step up to the plate again.
I'll be back in 60 days.
Diving into what makes a top contender for Canada's aging fleet. Plus, Andrew the Royal, formerly known as Prince.
CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo.
It is so close you can almost taste victory. The Toronto Blue Jays are one day away from a game that could end a 32-year-old series drought. Okay, we won't get ahead of ourselves. The LA Dodgers are indeed a formidable foe, but tomorrow night, the Jays will be on home turf, the Rogers Centre, in the Big Smoke, and fans couldn't be happier. CTV's Allison Hurst also found herself caught up in the excitement of the moment. Hi, Allison.
Sandy, fans have had nothing but smiles on their faces about their team, especially as the Blue Jays continue to smash expectations and records out of the park. On the first pitch of the game, Davis Schneider hit it out of the park.
The first pitch of the ball game.
And no one loved it more than his dad. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up next.
My, oh my, what a start for the Blue Jays here tonight.
Doubled down with back-to-back home runs to start the game.
Absolutely mind-blowing. It's amazing how deep this team goes.
But the story of Game 5 may be starting pitcher 22-year-old Trey Yesavage and his dominance on the mound, setting a new World Series rookie record with 12 strikeouts.
The guy's only 22 years old, and he's playing at, like, super high level. This is, like, unheard of. Stuff legends are made of. It was fantastic. The couple dingers to start the game, that was also super exciting too. But let's give this one to Yesavage.
Manager John Schneider was blown away.
It's a different pitcher when he has his stuff. Game one didn't have a feel for his split, so I'm kind of blown away at what he did.
Yesavage silenced the star-studded Dodgers offense, holding them to just one home run.
It's a crazy world. Crazy world. Hollywood couldn't have made it this good.
Blake and Austin de Nobrega were inside Rogers Centre for the watch party and have big plans to catch the game tomorrow.
Hope they win because my friend will be over for a sleepover with me, so I hope we can watch them win on Friday.
Watch it for the sleepover?
Yeah. I think we're gonna end trick-or-treating early so that we can go back and watch it.
Not even the weather can keep these fans down.
Literally entire country, like one win away. We have 2 cracks at it. If you don't win tomorrow, we have at least one more at home. It's huge. I can't even believe it. It's just thinking about it, walking over here, I'm like, this is really happening. So yeah, hopefully we can get it done.
As this series returns to Toronto for Game 6. Tomorrow's Game 6 will likely be a tough one. It is a rematch from Game 2 with Kevin Gausman on the mound for the Jays and the Dodgers' Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Sandy.
Okay, Allison, thank you. Canadian singer Rufus Wainwright put a subtle twist on the national anthem in both English and French before the World Series game last night, and it's getting both negative and positive reviews. Some say it's in response to Donald Trump's 51st state comments.
True patriot love that only us command.
The artist who grew up in Montreal sang That Only Us Command, as you heard, in place of In All of Us Command. Wainwright hasn't commented on the word switch, but critics, and there are many, don't like the fact he changed the lyrics to the anthem, period. Now, the forecast for Friday in Toronto shows rain with the expectation it will lighten up by game time. It is, however, looking more likely that Newfoundland and Labrador will feel the residual effects of Hurricane Melissa now after a shift in direction. Information from the Canadian Hurricane Centre shows a storm potentially tracking over the Avalon Peninsula on Saturday. Well, Canada has answered the appeal for help after that powerful hurricane pummeled the Caribbean, leaving a path of destruction and a climbing death toll. CTV's Abigail Beeman now with rescue efforts on the ground and where the aid is needed most. Abigail.
Sandy, this afternoon, the government announced millions in aid for the ravaged region and says they're standing by for any specific aid requests that may come in, including military help.
This family fights tears, surveying the damage to their home in coastal Black River.
If we had stayed, we'd have died.
And at the same time, feels fortunate.
And thank God I can find a bed to sleep on. So, even though they are soaking wet, but we can lean them up with the water can and drain out. If we even sit up, we will manage. We will manage.
Hurricane Melissa has killed dozens and caused massive destruction across Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba.
Today, our government is providing $7 million in humanitarian assistance.
That promise from Ottawa breaks down to $5 million for humanitarian partners providing aid such as sanitation and clean water, and $2 million for the World Food Program distributing food and relief. The government says Canada hasn't received any requests for military or personnel help, but stands ready.
We're standing with the Caribbean today, and we'll be here tomorrow to help rebuild stronger, safer, and more resilient.
We think this is going to be a little worse than what the initial reports are looking like.
The group Global Medic has portable water purification units and family emergency kits on the way to Jamaica, offering drone service as well. Rahul Singh says being on an island poses additional challenges.
There's less infrastructure and less capacity for folks to go to. And then with the flooding, and then the flooding sitting there, you've got to get rid of that water.
Tonight, Hurricane Melissa batters on towards Bermuda, downgraded to a still very powerful Category 2 storm. At this point, it's forecast to be a post-tropical storm as it passes Canada's east coast early Saturday morning.
Right.
Sandy?
Okay, Abigail, thank you. A royal storm is brewing in Britain. King Charles has initiated a formal process to strip his brother Andrew of his royal titles, including Prince. Andrew will now be called Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He will also have to give up the lease on his residence, Royal Lodge, and move to private housing. It is the latest fallout from sexual abuse allegations against him and his ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew gave up other titles, including Duke of York, earlier this month. Also creating waves today, the U.S. president calling on American military leaders to resume testing nuclear weapons. Donald Trump saying it would be done on an equal basis with Russia and China.
You know, we have more than anybody. When I see them testing, I say, well, they're going to test, I guess we have to test.
Russia announced over the weekend it had successfully tested 2 new weapons capable of carrying nuclear warheads. The last time the U.S. tested a nuclear weapon was back in 1992. Donald Trump is also calling his meeting with China's President Xi an unparalleled success.
I guess on the scale of from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, I would say the meeting was a 12.
The two leaders spoke at a military base in South Korea, after which Trump said he will lower tariffs on China from 57% to 47%. It is unclear what Mr. Trump's plans are for Canada, although he is sounding less frosty about the Prime Minister since the trip to South Korea. What is clear is that while he was away, the U.S. Senate voted to nullify the tariffs on Canada. CTV's Washington Bureau Chief Joy Malbon on the implications of the legislation and whether it has teeth. Joy.
Sandy, this is the second time the Senate voted to knock down Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada. It's a rare bipartisan slap, but before we get our hopes up, this was more of a symbolic scolding to the president's trade war with Canada.
Donald Trump has stopped the discussions because a TV ad hurt his feelings. Tariffs are hurting our economy, hurting our citizens, hurting our businesses. Let's terminate this bogus emergency.
That ad?
Such trade barriers hurt every American worker.
Angered President Trump, who cut off trade talks with Canada. Last night, 4 Republicans sided with Democrats to block Trump's tariffs. Kentucky's Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul upset over rising costs on key industries, bourbon and manufacturing. Susan Collins of Maine, a state that relies on Canada for imported oil and gas, and Alaska's Lisa Murkowski, all voted to repeal U.S. duties on Canadian goods.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 46. The joint resolution is passed.
These cracks among Republicans are small but notable and seen as more of a political statement against Trump's punishing tariffs. But the House won't take up the Senate's resolution because of a new rule that bars any measures challenging the president's tariff policy. And even when the Supreme Court hears oral arguments November 5th on the legality of Trump's tariffs, a final ruling will likely take months, if not longer. Sandy?
Okay, Joy, thank you. Mark Carney is still overseas and working to expand trade with Asia-Pacific partners. He has all sorts of meetings planned, including one with China's president on Friday. Today, the Prime Minister got his first look at the South Korean contender to replace Canada's aging submarine fleet. CTV senior correspondent Judy Trin was there.
This is Hanwha's KSS-3 submarine, launched into the sea just in time for the Prime Minister's visit. Mark Carney climbed down 7 meters to check out what the South Koreans want Canada to buy.
I told him we can build a submarine in 6 years.
The Royal Canadian Navy needs to begin replacing its aging fleet by 2035. Of its 4 submarines, only 1 is operational, the others in maintenance.
It's the only technology in the Navy that guarantees that we control our waters. We get to say who comes into our waters, and if they don't have our permission, then we can keep them out.
Hanwha uses robot technology to build its submarines, which will cost about $2 billion each. It's competing with a German-Norwegian venture. Carney toured TKMS over the summer. Its state-of-the-art vessel is still in production. During a visit to Ottawa last week, the CEO didn't provide a cost estimate.
And of course, we will calculate on a base what the customer wants to have, which capabilities should the submarine have. So for us, I think it's too early to shout out a price range.
The Navy wants to buy 12 new submarines. The successful bid must also benefit Canada.
Factors like industrial benefits for the country, the use of Canadian inputs, materials like steel, the timeliness of the delivery of a submarine, for example, will be important for us.
The federal government says it will choose the winning submarine contractor in 2026, but it could happen earlier. Judy Trin, CTV News, Koje, South Korea.
An apology today from the Canadian Armed Forces to current and former members who have experienced racial discrimination and harassment while serving. It was delivered by the military's top brass, including the Chief of the Defense Staff. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver was listening in.
Reuben Coward has been out of the military longer than he was in it. But the trauma after years of painful encounters ranging from racial slurs to being passed over for promotions still affect him and his family.
Until we have people willing to move en masse to dismantle and decolonialize this nonsense, it's going to be a chapter and verse in my granddaughter's life, who's only 6.
But decades after Coward's retirement, military members continue to face racism and sexism on the job.
It was extremely hard because I joined when I was 16 years old.
Jay Day says the first racial slur came early in her 17-year career.
I started to receive a lot of negative comments based on my skin color, based on being a very petite woman as well. And that just trickled into so many other feelings of not really feeling proud to wear the uniform.
Today, the Canadian Armed Forces gathered survivors for a long-awaited apology for the treatment racialized members have faced.
I apologize to every CAF member, veteran who experienced racism, discrimination, and harassment. And I acknowledge we failed you.
An acknowledgement the Chief of Defense Staff says marks both a milestone and a difficult day for the military.
We failed to live up to the values we project and promote around the world every day.
But feelings among veterans today are mixed.
The apology, in my humble opinion, is hollow.
May this apology mark not an end, but a beginning.
The military, which recent reports show is becoming more diverse, says it's committed to real and lasting culture change, and that this is one step along that path. Sandy.
All right, Annie. Progress in finding several of the thieves involved in the jewel heist at the Louvre. Police in France today arrested 5 more suspects.
Réalisé sur commission rogatoire des 2 magistrats instructeurs qui ont été désignés.
Officials say 3 were directly involved. The stolen jewels, estimated at more than $100 million, are still missing. Coming up after the break, a class act in protesting.
We're here to stand for them because this is messed up.
What students want for their teachers. After Alberta forced striking teachers back to work this week, thousands of students in Alberta showed their support for educators by walking out of class today. CTV's Kathy Lee spoke to some of them about the labor unrest. All right, Kathy, what did they tell you?
Sandy, students here are angry. They're angry about the fact that their teachers were forced back to work yesterday, and they're angry about the state of education in this province. Thousands of students across Alberta decided to take matters into their own hands today by walking out of class, supporting their teachers and sending a message to the Premier and the UCP government in hopes they will listen.
Pay our teachers and give us the education we deserve because this isn't fair. Yeah, the teachers need their support. You guys are not giving our teachers support. It's messed up and she needs to go.
Hundreds of thousands of Alberta students were off for 3 weeks because of the strike. Teachers were forced to return to work yesterday after the government passed legislation that invoked the notwithstanding clause, which infringes on some charter rights. The move triggered the Alberta Federation of Labour to declare a potential general strike if necessary.
As of yesterday, our teachers have less human rights. They are less human. They have less rights than me and Sergey here.
Grade 12 students are especially impacted by the strike as they have missed out on weeks of prep for their diploma exams. There is a petition with 28,000 signatures to make the important tests optional. On the matter of a possible general strike, the government said in a statement to CTV News that it would not comment until that strike is confirmed. Sandy.
Okay, Kathy, thanks so much. Day 4 of our ongoing coverage of budget issues and what Canadians want and need. Many families are struggling to make ends meet and increasingly relying on food banks. Ottawa has vowed to tackle the cost of living, but how? CTV senior correspondent Heather Wright takes a closer look at what's needed. Heather.
Sandy, affordability is a huge concern for Canadians. Nearly half say rising costs are impacting their ability to meet day-to-day expenses, according to Statistics Canada. And while some help might be coming in the federal budget, it might not be enough for those struggling to get by.
In her spare time, Annetta Wozniak bakes. Cream puffs, tiramisu, beautiful cakes. It's a passion of hers, but also a way to try and make some extra money.
It's a huge challenge to live in downtown Toronto.
Wozniak is one of the millions of Canadians living paycheck to paycheck. She's a single mom and has a job, but is struggling. She uses the food bank where she also volunteers, but fears she may soon be evicted as she struggles to pay rent.
I don't pay fully rent because I don't make enough. My one income, it's not enough for me and my daughter. But I'm doing my best.
With the Carney government set to unveil its first budget next week, people like Wozniak will be watching for anything that might make their lives more affordable. The Liberals have already announced plans to make the National School Food Program, which provides meals to 400,000 children, permanent. Ottawa will also start automatic benefits for the 2026 tax year that will ensure 5.5 million low-income Canadians receive eligible tax breaks, including the GST HST credit, the Canada Child Benefit, and the Canada Disability Benefit. There could also be tax breaks to help those working in skilled trades and personal support workers. But financial experts caution it's unlikely the federal budget will include anything that will make an immediate impact on affordability.
I can't imagine anything in the budget that is going to be even targeted specifically for you that's going to be material enough to take you from being in a situation of financial despair to one of financial success overnight. That's just an unrealistic expectation.
While the government is expected to boost spending in some areas, the Prime Minister has also warned of sacrifices that will need to be made due to the economic uncertainty. Sandy.
Thank you, Heather. CTV's Heather Wright in Toronto. After the break, a Grand Slam moment to remember. Catching up with a super fan who crashed the last World Series win. For those of you who were around and watched the Blue Jays win the World Series back in 1993, you'll remember the superfan who ran onto the field to celebrate that victory after Joe Carter hit a walk-off home run. CTV's John Venevali-Rao drove east to Peterborough, Ontario's Mark Astrom, and rekindle old memories.
A pitch on the way, a swing and a belt.
It was a moment of pure magic. Joe Carter touching them all to win the '93 World Series. But while millions across the country began to party, Mark Astrom wasn't content to just watch the team celebrate on the field.
Just the instinct of I'm here, I'm this close, and we're going to win it. And this is first time ever. So why not?
Astrom was at that historic game, having bought tickets from a scalper for a now unbelievable price.
We were able to get a ticket for only 130 Canadian in the 5th level. So Joe has touched home plate.
Before Carter stepped up to the plate, Astrom had moved to a lower section.
2-1 on Carter.
And when that homer was smacked, he decided to rush onto the field.
I sprinted down the stairs, had to duck an usher.
You can see him jumping with the team and photobombing a CBS camera crew saying, "Hi, Mom."
There's a photograph of me with one hand up in the air and celebrating, and pure joy on my face for the Jays having won and being there to witness it.
After about a minute, he was apprehended by a police officer, hauled off the field, and let go.
I went back up to the seats to enjoy the insanity. Evidence of pure joy and fashion.
He's kept all the photos of his moment with the team. As for this time around, he says he can't afford to pay the thousands for a ticket, so he'll be watching Game 6 at home while enjoying the special memory he has from the last time the Jays won the World Series.
It makes me laugh. It was a lot of fun.
John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Peterborough, Ontario.
All that's left to say is go, Jays, go. Thank you for sharing your time with us. I'm Sandy Ronaldo. Your local CTV News is coming up. Bye for now. Take care and be well.
CTV National News, Canada's #1 newscast.